Hello there. The siren call of Black Ice, HOI4’s hardest mod, has lured me back in once again, but this time I'm gonna really punish myself. Instead of a competent country, I'm gonna play Italy, the absolute joke of World War II. And because I'm a nerd who hates himself, I'm gonna do it with completely historical, year-appropriate divisional designs, as well as all historical tanks and planes. Will I be able to reverse the Italy curse and actually help Mr. Mustache Man win? Why not like the video and subscribe to find out? At 75,000 subscribers, I've got a massive community multiplayer plan that's going to be interesting. Okay, here we are. Italy in Black Ice. Black Ice means intense complexity. We've got food to think about, refineries, energy, bauxite. It's so much to think about, and I always forget about the refineries, so I'm just gonna click them right now. The very first thing I'm noticing is Italy is that I have no resources whatsoever. What on earth do I make nothing? This is terrifying. I'm gonna have to import so many things. We also have all kinds of terrifying spirits. Italian leadership, what is that? Oh god. And electrified rail. Some good things, but mostly terrible. It's minus 6% factory output. Why? Quota 90. This is a terrible decision for our economy. Oh god. Not only do we have to figure out how to survive for the whole general war, we also need to defeat Ethiopia right now. I am doing historical divisions, and there are so many different division types that I start with, but I'm barely going to use most of these because a lot of these are really weird abstractions that don't really make any sense. But this is our tank division right now. Oh god. Look at it. It's Black Ice, so that means 1 billion different research slots, many of which are dedicated to specific branches, like only tanks or artillery, and we have to work through all of the strange we don't start with any planes. Oh my god, we don't start with any actual plane techs. Look how much there is to research. We're also massively behind on all of our doctrine. We haven't finished the World War I tree, so we need to do that before we can start doing modern doctrine. Black Ice has so many different types of equipment, and I'm not even making all the things I need. I still need medium artillery and infantry guns. Why? Okay. Oh, just look at all this stuff. The focus tree is absolutely packed with stuff, and it's going to be very confusing, but I will need economy first, but absolute first is the Ethiopia stuff, because I need to win that right now, and I get some good bonuses. I'm just going to move basically every single mountain infantry that I have to the northern front, and every fast-moving boy I have to the southern front, and all the air, and hope I can kill Ethiopia quickly. Oh god, it's Black Ice. I always forget about the massive divisional limitation you get. You have to fix it with doctrine. Only 12 per general. I hate it. Here's something very familiar for Black Ice. I'm completely out of fuel. I make none of it. I don't appear to have any oil in Libya, so I'm going to have to just import it from America until I can build some refineries and figure out what oil actually is. Weirdly, Ethiopia is falling very easily. I've got plenty of divisions, and the Ethiopians kind of don't. It actually feels easier than in vanilla. All right. I literally just pushed straight through and I won in like a few weeks. That was incredibly easy. All right. I now have the choice of making Italian East Africa as a puppet nation or taking it under direct control. And I can also play as Italian East Africa. I'm not going to do that one. In Black Ice, normally you never ever want to make a puppet because the AI just can't handle making new equipment if they're not a nation from the start of the game. But this time I am going to make Italian East Africa because there's lots of things I can do to help build them up. Lots of interesting decisions. And it's the historical option, so let's do it. Lovely, here it is. Headed by Pietro Bergoglio, an efficient sociopath. Oh my. Can also now move to partial mobilization, which is massively important. Makes it so it's actually possible to build military factories at some point. Takes a couple months, but that's fine. I still need to build cities and refineries for a bit. As ever in Black Ice, we need to focus on the focuses that give us research slots because we desperately need them for things like doctrines and tanks and stuff. We really need to work towards them. Some of them are quite far deep and have time locks as well. I don't know. We have to figure this out. We do get a couple of nice little decisions, making the trains run on time and give some speeches. This isn't too bad. We now just have to build up for the next literally 4 years. Mostly civilian economy to start with, and maybe trying to invest in these resources so I can actually make things. We've sent a few of our truly terrible tanks and some planes over to Spain as part of the Spanish Civil War for some XP, and now we're just grinding down the focus tree anywhere I can get economy. Our very first design is the Roma-class capital ship, which is weirdly 38 when actually it really should be the 1940, but it's fine. It is frighteningly accurate when it comes to the armor and guns, and it even has the weird airplane catapult that is very strange on a battleship. I can absolutely see why Italy is recommended as a starter nation for Black Ice, because it really is like I'm building an economy from the ground up. Like, all these focuses give me tons of factories and very small bonuses that I can contribute towards a growing civilian industry, which will eventually make a good military industry. It's cool. I don't start with like a ready-made economy like in the Soviets or Germany. It's 1937 and I have my very first mills. Gonna try and prioritize some mountain equipment because I'm gonna need a hell of a lot of mountain boys. My very favorite doctrine, the infantry support MG or MG support infantry. I do believe the historical option is that machine guns support infantry like the rest of conventional militaries of the time. And now I realize I don't even start with the refinery tech, so I can't stop making them yet. Oh god. I've also only just looked at the different tanks that Italy starts with, and I don't move off of tankettes, the L335s, all the way down till 1939 when I get the L6 light and the M11 medium. This is terrible. Little tiny tankettes and crappy lights. I hate this. Trying to rush the doctrines, now finally in World War II doctrines. Trying to decide which of these beautiful things should be the historical option. I'm thinking methodical battle, which is the equivalent of grand battle plan. It's pretty lame and doesn't actually give us much until much later, but none of the other ones seem to really fit, so I'll stick with that. And defenses, I will probably go for prepared defenses. Again, seems to stick with the rather archaic method of fighting that Italy had in World War II. And if you're not familiar, Black Ice separates doctrines into offensive and defensive trees with extra stuff as well. It's pretty great. Alright, I've just been building up. It's finally time to unlock the M11. I actually have the necessary text. It's a little early. The tank is surprisingly accurate to its historical origins. It has the double machine guns. It has the 37mm gun. It is fine. Only about 100 of these were actually made, but they formed the core of the early tank forces for Italy, so I will definitely be making this. I need some medium tanks, guys. We're also only just now fixing our economy and improving the disorganized industry in Quota 90 focuses and getting some mills. I also realize I have like 1,000 little planes here that are completely inexperienced. I need to start training them, and that's going to use up all of my fuel. It doesn't matter. I desperately need my planes to have some experience, otherwise they're going to get instantly shut down by Spitfires. It's 39. The war has kicked off a little bit early, but don't worry, that doesn't impact us. I won't be joining until the historical start date of Italy joining the war, which is like August or September 1940. So I still have some time to prepare, and I'm finally getting some mills and getting some equipment together. A little bit of planes, a little bit of tanks. We also have the L640, our first actual light tank. It's got the 20mm gun, the 8mm machine guns. It has the armor. It's kind of crappy, but it's not a tankette, so I love it. All right, it is now January 1940, which means we can make our very first divisional designs. We've managed to get up to 100 military factories and actually have some resources to fuel them, which is nice. So we're going to make the very first design, which is an infantry division. The infantry division of the Italian army was very weird in that it was actually a binary division, which meant it only had 2 infantry regiments. However, what's very interesting is when you look at the actual data, the infantry regiments had very few pieces of field guns or mortars. And Black Ice can actually help replicate this because infantry guns and field mortars only go to regular infantry. If you go to light infantry, they actually won't get those. So to replicate the correct number of infantry support weapons, I'm going to substitute 2 of the infantry battalions for light infantry because they don't get the spicy stuff. Within the field artillery regiment, there was basically a mix of different types of artillery. We have 12 regular light artillery, 12 medium howitzers, which corresponds to what the artillery techs that we have here, the 117s and the 75-18s, but we also have pack artillery. This likely represents the fact that the Italian infantry were just mostly fighting in very bad terrain, so their artillery needed to be able to be broken down very quickly, and Black Ice does replicate that with the addition of pack artillery to make mountains a bit easier, so we'll just sub one of those. And then finally we have the CCNN Legion, the worst part of the Italian infantry division, because Italy didn't trust the armies. They wanted to put in a whole bunch of fascist militia. These are actually militia units that are poorly equipped and are basically sort of like beefed up MP units. So we're going to add 2 militia battalions, making this our final infantry division. I hate this so very much. We also do need to add some support anti-tank, which was motorized, and there we go. Yeah, this is not great. It's got all the support companies, but it's very bad. The Alpine division of the Italian army was quite similar to the regular infantry division, except it had a smaller complement of the CCNN militia, and it also had, weirdly, 3 battalions of pack artillery, as well as 1 of medium artillery, and it also had a bit more AA support than the regular infantry divisions. So this is pretty much accurate once I just add the militia. It's quite small, and it's way too much artillery, but that's what we gotta do. Finally, we just need to think about our quote-unquote tank division, the Italian Serrari division, which was basically a speedy boy. It was basically just a souped-up cavalry division with some tanks, mostly tankettes to help beef up the armor a bit. And so this is pretty much what it looks like. It's almost entirely cavalry. It's got 1 motorcycle battalion and 2 motorized infantry and a couple battalions of motorized artillery. Of note, it has 1 battalion of tankettes, but it should also have an armored reconnaissance company of tankettes as well, which would give us the requisite number of 60 tankettes, making this really just honestly terrible. I'm going to do one slightly strange thing, which is to make a copy of my infantry division design and duplicate it and make this the desert variant, because Black Ice allows you to add a desert support company to make fighting in deserts just a little bit easier, and the Italian North African army definitely did have changes for the infantry to help support them in the desert. So I think this is just the best way to do this. We'll break the army down and also remember to put them onto default symbols so you can actually see what these divisions actually are and start to organize all of our army. Oh boy, there we go. We've got everything broken down now. We've got some desert infantry along the North African frontier. Simple plan to push to El Alamein. We've got a lot of regular infantry and our mountaineers getting ready to defend in Italian East Africa. This is going to be really, really hard because there's loads of divisions here. And we've got some pushing infantry and I think a couple tanks just to try to crush this little pocket in Somaliland. We're going to need to move all of our air over here and also try to add air bases into Ethiopia through focuses, which I have not done yet. But it's okay, I have a few more months before we join, so I'll need to get all of these focuses done. We also get a free army mobilization, which puts us up to General Moby, which is very nice. I guess because the world is just going to hell, we might as well get ready. We're trying to save up as much fuel as possible, though it's very hard because I'm also trying to train all of my divisions enough so that they can actually fight. We have actually been invited to join the Axis, but we're not going to join just yet because Italy did not join until Paris fell in like August, so I am going to wait. This gives us more time to save fuel. I've also got a massive fleet setup going on in the Mediterranean with 6 battleships. I completely forgot to build carriers. Bittersteel was specifically telling me to build carriers as Italy, and I just completely forgot. But I'm hoping that I can wipe out the Mediterranean fleet very quickly. I've also got a whole bunch of coastal submarines just standing along Egypt, which lets us see the port guards. Not going to be very easy to do any kind of invasions. There's a lot of lads here, but my goal is take the Suez. The French have capitulated, so let's move some of these tanks onto the line and get ready. Let's freaking go. We're going to join and we are going to push in Africa. Do you believe? Straight away grab 8 million bayonets, which gives us a whole bunch of really nice bonuses for about 4 months, which is just fantastic. Hopefully this will push us towards Egypt. Oh god, I was importing so much from France. I'm completely out of iron and everything. Okay, it's alright. Germany, you will help me, right? Please give me everything. Completely forgot that General Balbo dies because this is historical and it's Black Ice, so I just lost my best field marshals. Thanks a lot, mod developers. My first offenses into Somaliland have sort of failed because British tanks have actually pushed us, which is not great, but we are doing really well in North Africa. I have taken the Sidi Biryani supply hub, which means I will be able to absolutely overwhelm them. I just got to get some railway connections. Oh, we're still going. We're pushing straight to El Alamein. I've encircled like 15 divisions. I did not believe I could do this, but the crappy tank divisions do work because they're fast. That's all that matters. After El Alamein fell, Alexandria was next. Look at this. We are in northern Egypt. The British just do not have the supplies necessary to keep this going. Our subs are sinking British convoys, which is perfect. We just need to try and rush now to the Suez Canal. No big battles as of yet, but we got control of the Med. Oh, look at this. It's beautiful. We've actually managed to get air dominance in Egypt, which means that it is possible to take Cairo and Port Said. We have also managed to finish closing that little pocket of British troops in Somaliland, which means we can now rush the rest of them to help defend Italian East Africa. And the Suez has fallen. Oh my god. There just wasn't many divisions here. I was really expecting way more Brits. I guess they just haven't had a chance to move here yet. Ah, there we go. The Brits are pissed off. They sent loads of planes to contest me, but that's fine. We've taken the main bits. Now we can think about taking Levant and maybe pushing south. Cairo has fallen in one big push. It's almost entirely infantry. I cannot believe how strong my divisions are actually being. I think it's because they just have very low supply weight because they're mostly light infantry and militia. I am almost completely out of fuel though, so we're going to go down to low civilian fuel and try to conserve as much as possible. I was really tempted to try to go down to total mobilization because you get a lot of factory output and really nice bonuses, but it causes weekly stability loss, an extra 0.2%. It doesn't seem like much, but I am losing stability constantly, and stability is massively important in Black Ice. It would basically collapse my economy. So I think I'll stay on war economy for now and think about maybe trying to spend my pippy on getting some stab. All right, I've been fighting very hard. It's now January 1941. We have pushed down the Nile. We are also deeply in the Levant, trying to get up towards Jerusalem. There are a bunch of Canadian forces here. We've got resources. We've got oil. I even have rubber importing from Italian East Africa. I just need to remember to move everything to military governor so I get more resources from it. You don't really get compliance gain in Black Ice. It's not really much point. But it's now time to think about the 1941 changes. The only significant change that happens in 41 is the tank division. We actually get one. We're going to base it off of the 132nd Ariati Armored Division. The only thing a little bit confusing is the actual kinds of tanks within it. Some sources say that it's all medium tanks, but in actuality, I do believe it was mostly light and tankette tanks, slowly being replaced with proper medium tanks as the war went on. So to replicate this, we're going to assign 1 battalion to mediums, 1 to light, and 1 to tankettes, and then over time gradually change them over to proper mediums. It also had 1 motorcycle and 2 motorized infantry battalions, and then a whole bunch of artillery. It had 36 light artillery pieces of 75mm, with some of them having 105mm mediums, but we're going to use the 3 regular light battalions. We're going to have support anti-air to replicate the 16 anti-air guns that it had, some engineers, a good amount of anti-tank, about 20 total guns, and also a motorcycle recon battalion. So there we go, our very first actual tank divisions. We're going to rename them something a little bit clearer, but also the X-Watcher Y after a lovely YouTube member. Oh man, I just realized, look how historical this mod is. This focus actually gives you a semi-historical medium tank division. This is crazy. It actually makes a really historical division, so I didn't need to spend all that time making it myself. Oh well, that's an hour of wasted research, I guess. We are just pouring up the Levant because so many of the colonial forces defending the borders have no organization whatsoever. Like, I just click on them and they move. I don't understand. The French and Syrian forces have nothing. Thanks, I guess. I also do need to make the Marine Division of 1941, but the problem is that this is what it looks like. Yes, that's right, that's 2 battalions and 3 companies. This is because Marine detachments were not full division size. So to make this work for HOI, we're going to have to extrapolate this out a little bit and have 2 Marine battalions with 2 infantry battalions, just upgrading companies 2 battalions, plus 1 CCNN militia, as well as some tankette recon, which will allow us to have the tankettes necessary. This is it. It's crappy. Oh god. Managed to take a supply hub in Egypt, so I think this means we can move over to Yugoslavia. I've got some forces ready. I don't think I'm gonna have to do much. The Germans are completely prepared. Okay, yeah, they died. I literally looked away for a second and Germany capitulated them. Thanks, guys. Oh my god, we got so much equipment. Clothes and guns. Yes. Unfortunately, scripted peace deals means that we actually don't get to keep much of Yugoslavia. We basically just get Montenegro, which does have some very nice resources. Look at that, a whole bunch of tungsten, alloying metals, and bauxite, and a little bit of food. That's not too bad. This does mean I can trade and do some good things with this. Oh my god, the Deutsche Afrika Korps has arrived, a panzer division. Appreciate the help, Germany, but I've already conquered all of Egypt and the Levant, and we're already pushing south. So thanks a lot, but no thanks. We have managed to sweep right down, so we're trying to reconnect ARC borders with Italian East Africa right now, and also thinking about can we move into Iraq, because there is actually a way to do that. Once I get 8 million bayonets, if I defeat Greece, I can then do the oil expedition, so I can attack Iraq and get that oil. To get it, I've got to take Thessaly and Crete, so I'm going to need to do naval invasions and win in the mountains. I suppose I should also think about helping out in the east when it does happen. I kind of need to focus on Greece for now, but I will be there soon, Germany, don't worry. No. Iraq just attacked the Allies. This means they're gonna join the Axis. Oh no, I was gonna kill them and take their oil. At least I can still import their oil to myself, so I won't run out of fuel so quickly. Thanks, Iraq. Time to be a little Italian rat. Just as Barbarossa starts, we're gonna do Greece. We can do most of this on our own. We've also got Bulgaria. Crete is immediately falling. I could not do a paratroop invasion of Crete as they did historically because I don't have paratroop templates until 1942. So that's fine. Look at that. We're actually doing it. Our Marines are doing things. And also, Greece itself is just collapsing. I'm just rushing in them with everything I have. It's very surprisingly going well. And we've also connected the borders in Africa, and I'm crushing down, trying to get towards the Belgian Congo. Can also finally get the M1441 tank, the actual good thing. It has a genuine cannon. This is like a proper medium tank. It actually does work, and we're going to fill our tank divisions with this once we can build them a bit more. Oh dear sweet Christ, I am losing 24% factory output due to lack of fuel. I was not paying attention. That is the end of Greece. That's beautiful. This means we can do 8 million bayonets and get some more focuses as well as some really nice bonuses as well. We are actually being naval invaded by the Brits from like Malta or something. Please stop it. I don't have any troops anywhere. Oh god, let's pull some boys off from anywhere. Oh my god, it's Operation Countenance. Iran is being attacked by the Soviets and the Allies. This means they will join the Axis, so we can put our forces in there and we can start to push towards Baku. We can make up an extra front against the Soviets. Let's move all the boys I had ready against the Soviets in the east. I was just getting ready to invade. And let's get them ready in Iran. Oh, we could even go into the Black Sea and conquer Turkey. We just have to do the front properly against the Soviets. This is incredible. We can take Saudi Arabia. Oh, we're doing so well. Okay, what on earth is this? I'm just looking at the German logistics panel. They are down tens of thousands of equipment. How and why, Germany? Also, I tried a little Gibraltar invasion. That's not going to happen. There's so many troops here, and they're actually tanks. No way. We'll just cancel that. I didn't realize, but I've completely run out of manpower. I think I need to go up recruitment brackets. Also, I can finally grab the Semavante 7518. This is basically the Italian self-propelled gun. I will build tons of these, and I can use it to replace the motorized artillery that's currently in the tank divisions. I'm getting a little concerned right now. The Germans are starting to struggle against the Soviets. It's February 42, and they are getting pushed now. Please, Germany, come on. How have you run out of equipment already? I was really hoping that my extra front in the Caucasus would do well, but I'm actually losing. I have no idea why. I really needed the oil in Baku so I could wreck the Soviets, but it's just not happening. At least we can finally get War Machine from Modern Army. A huge amount of bonuses to our army here. Maybe we can finally push Russia now. At least Japan's actually winning. They're really far into China. My hope is that they will actually capitulate them. Annoyingly, China has tons of stability, so they're actually only halfway to capitulation, but if they can beat them, then they can distract all the allies by pushing into India, and I really need that. Of course, the American forces have started to pour into Africa now, and are actually starting to push me. I'm going to do a bit of a retreat now to some of the more mountainous provinces, because I really don't want to lose Ethiopia. It would appear that despite my incredible performance in Africa and my domination of the Allies in the Med, the Soviets are winning. They're beating the Germans on the Eastern Front pretty handily, and they're also kicking my butt in the Caucasus. Like, look at this. I just don't understand. Why are you dying so easily, Germany? I've sent some forces to help, but it's not enough. All the Americans that have come into Africa mean I need to do a little bit of a retreat behind some river lines in Ethiopia. We just need to hold right now and distract the Allies. Only thing I can do is grind more infantry onto the Soviet front and just stop the Germans from retreating, please. We are getting pushed back really heavily in Iran, though. I might need to think about falling back. I cannot take Tabriz for the life of me. It's also now August 1942, so I can change up my tank division to be a little bit better. The sources I have basically listed as the North Africa Armored Division, and besides adding a bunch more actual medium tanks to the division, the only real change is the amount of artillery that it has. I have to unfortunately have 3 whole battalions of motorized light artillery, 1 of motorized medium artillery, but also 1 close support assault gun of the Semavante 7518s. So it looks like this. Its org is bad. It also looks like Iran has completely collapsed. They're just gonna die really soon. So let's start to completely pull back and form up on a new line in Iraq and around Baghdad so I can try to keep them alive. I was really hoping that this would be the new front, but it just isn't, guys. Oh yeah, Iran capitulated really fast and is now a puppet of the UK. There are going to be so many forces now trying to attack me in Iraq, and I've got all my boys on this little line. They should be able to hold them off for a while. We have also been pushed back in Africa all the way into Ethiopia. If we lose Addis Ababa, we will actually capitulate here. There's just too many forces. I really needed the Germans to do better in the Soviet front. I was hoping the Allies were more distracted by Japan, but they've just poured in here. Oh Christ, it happened so fast. What? Why did this happen? Okay, Addis Ababa apparently got taken, or something got taken. It instantly capitulated. UK had just annexed them instantly, and all of my troops have become trapped. I got no event, no nothing. That's terrible. Okay, we're gonna have to try and fight these boys out, get them to a port or something, see if we can maybe evacuate them north and form a new line in southern Egypt. This is awful. For revenge, I completed the focus to do a raid on Gibraltar. This starts a border war between Andalusia and Gibraltar, so Spain may help us out. I'm going to do a naval invasion at the same time and see if I can maybe take Gibraltar while that chaos is going on. Dear God, it's not looking likely. Look at these boys. There are so many Brits here, and they are very strong. What? Okay, I guess the border war happened, and then for some reason, the UK instantly annexed the entirety of Andalusia. Why did that happen? But Spain hasn't joined the war. Britain's just gained a chunk. They've gained Sevilla. Okay, screw me, I guess. Screw me further. The Iraq line has completely failed. We've been overwhelmed by really well-supplied British troops. I guess we were just too far from a supply hub. We need to pull back and try to defend further west. We gotta hold the Levant. The stalemate on the Eastern Front is full on. It's April 43, and my god, we are doing nothing. I am trying to help them out as much as possible, but the Germans are down so much equipment. They've lost it all, and they've barely pushed in. They're not even close to Stalingrad. I have thrown over 5 tank divisions to try and help them out and do some specific counters, but it's just not helping. A lot of the infantry that I've got is mostly trying to hold the line around Rostov, but it's just not helping that much, man. Oh, hell, it's Operation Torch. Okay, North Africa is getting wrecked. We're going to send the boys that we've got in reserve right now, and maybe the Marines as well. Cancel all of our plans. We need to try and keep Vichy France alive in North Africa against the Americans. I'm also going to keep lend-leasing Germany as much as I can. I've got quite a lot of spare equipment that I don't need, like anti-air and support and even handheld anti-tank. They can have it all, and guns, whatever. I just need to keep Germany alive. Oh, okay, what the hell? Turkey just joined the Allies. It is September 1943, and Turkey just joined the Allies. What the hell? We're going to have to completely pull back now and try to defend a line around Amman and Jerusalem and on the supply hubs. This is terrible. There's so many divisions now about to hit us. We're also going to have to pull back a bunch of troops that are on the Eastern Front to try to hold against the Turkey front in Bulgaria. We're at least sinking dozens of convoys and ships belonging to the Allied navies in the Med, so maybe that will keep things going. It's now January 1944, and this is the situation. We are not doing great. We're sinking tons of ships, but we're holding in North Africa, kind of. It's not looking amazing. They are kind of outsmarting us and outmaneuvering, so we're going to need to build a new defensive line. The Egypt front is sort of collapsing because the front is just too wide and we don't have the supply hubs necessary. We're going to need to build up a new reserve line further up the Nile. We're holding in the Levant quite nicely, but we've lost all that territory we gained, and we can't push into Istanbul because of the overwhelming number of Turks. The Eastern Front is just in a bad way. The Soviets are really pushing. There's this huge little salient here, but Japan has done some good work and has capitulated the Soviet Chinese Republic, and soon they will defeat China, so maybe all hope is not lost, huh? There's been no hint of a D-Day in France, so Germany is looking pretty fine in that regard, though they're getting bombed to hell. Germany is now also on scraping the barrel and recruiting from between ages of 12 to 70. So, yeah, it's not a good situation to be a German right now. Japan is doing really well. They've actually invaded South Africa, but I just don't think that's going to be enough because the Americans are pushing me in Egypt. My line is broke. Yeah, okay. We've completely fallen back now. I'm going to lose the Suez and Alexandria. I've made a new line directly on the Suez and on El Alamein. I'm going to let them take everything else, so they will get some ports, but it doesn't matter. I will be able to protect the Suez and El Alamein. We're fine. It's fine, guys. China has also won the Sino-Japanese War. Please do something good now, Japan, besides just invading South Africa. Been another couple months. I decided to try and do a little bit of a push because it looked like a lot of the allies were weak in Egypt, so I am trying to push back down the Nile, and it's working so far. Unfortunately, my protection forces in the northwest are about to completely die. They've been utterly encircled, so Torch is just going to rampage through and take Tripoli and all of my North Africa territories. That doesn't matter, though, because look at that. 7 British battleships destroyed. Come on. Oh, dear sweet Christ. I was looking at that too long. It's 1946, and they have just rampaged through me. I am holding along the Nile, but I'm having to retreat again to the Suez and El Alamein. It's not looking great. I'm getting a lot of bombing going along in Italy. The Soviet front is just utterly stalled. I don't know what's going on there. It's hell. This is hell. Okay, it's been a few more months now, and the situation has not necessarily developed in our favor. We have had to completely pull out of Africa. It's all gone, mate. We had to abandon it. I'm sorry. We are still massively stuck in Turkey. We cannot push there, and the Eastern Front has utterly stalled. I've got a whole bunch of infantry and tanks to help out the Germans, frantically hoping we can make some pushes, but our divisions are just no good. The Soviet tanks are now way too strong. Our divisions themselves are still pretty much exactly the same because we don't have sources for later war divisions, so this is all we can do, and it's just not good enough. Our tanks at least do have some mechanized assault infantry because I have some sources that German mechs were added to some Italian divisions later on in the war, but that's about the only change we can really do. The Germans have managed to fix their massive equipment deficit, mostly from my lend-lease, but also because they've had like 2 years of uninterrupted chilling on the front. And we are continuing to sink huge amounts of the British Navy in the Med, but it's just not going to make a difference because we can't take back Africa. Look at that, 5 carriers. That's incredible. They just have nothing left, surely. Okay, it would appear that Britain has triggered the Operation Overlord decision because a bunch of really tiny French partisans have spawned in Grenoble. I guess I'll just send my reserve divisions and go kill them. They haven't actually invaded France. They've just done the little trigger. I don't understand why this has happened. Okay, Germany has started the offensives once again, but I'm not sure it's going to go very well because they have 0 manpower and are on max recruitment laws. That's not going to go well. Okay, I put some submarines right next to Gibraltar, and it would appear that it's empty. Can we take Gibraltar? Can I just invade it for free? The answer is yes. Apparently, they just did not garrison Gibraltar. Go, 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 go. Oh my god, this is amazing. We can leave the med. Okay, let's be sneaky boys here. Let's do a naval invasion, but not in Dover because there's 7 coastal forts. I have smuggled my fleet all the way up here, and I've got some naval invasions planned with some marines. We're going to take Hull and the tile above Hull. Oh my god, it's working. Yes, there's only 1 division here. Come on, baby, let's go. We've done it. We have Sea Lion. We have taken Hull and Middlesbrough, that terrible place, and we're going to start pushing south. We got to move the rest of our army here. It's actually working. I've smuggled so many divisions and tanks. It is surprisingly empty here. I've done a couple encirclements, but I'm just trying to rush VPs and towns for supply hubs and seeing if I can encircle the rest of the British army. Oh god, we're on a time limit. Romania has just peaced out and joined the Soviet Union. This is very bad. There's going to be Soviet forces swarming everywhere. We gotta hurry. Let's abandon Greece and just pull everything back. This is all going to fall. Scotland is almost completely empty. Let's just swarm and take all the VPs. This is fantastic. We've been pushing like mad. The encirclement of London is almost here. We managed to cut off a lot of forces and encircle them just by really rushing it. We have officially taken out 1 million UK forces personally. That is incredible. And it is now pretty much just London left. There's some small bits in Scotland and in the southwest, but come on. Oh, we've taken Liverpool. Is that actually going to be enough? Maybe if we take Plymouth as well? Okay, yeah, we've taken Plymouth. Oh, we didn't even need London. Yes, we took Plymouth and everything else, and the UK has fallen. We capitulated the UK almost completely on our own. Yes, we lost Africa completely despite winning it to begin with. And yes, the Soviets are now rampaging in the Balkans, but come on, the fall of London. Now, of course, that's not going to save us. The Soviets are going to be at our doorstep very soon, but we did indeed defeat the UK on our own. It's just Germany who let us down. I gave them so much, but they just could not push. Despite a Japanese victory in China, it's just not going to matter. We're going to lose this. So I think I'm going to call it here. The game is slowed to an absolute crawl in 1948. I'm not going to play Black Ice all the way into the 50s. My computer will truly catch fire. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Black Ice Italy, and while we did not win the war, I think we won the moral victory. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members who so graciously support this channel, whose names will appear shortly, and I hope to see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.